I'm Kaylee, and today I'm doing a bookshelf tour of all my Jane Austen books and Jane Austen related books. Before we dive into all the Jane Austen-y goodness, I'm going to reach back here to our Booktuber Shoutout book, and we're going to shout out somebody randomly. Today's shout out goes to Beautiful Minutia. Oh, wonderful. One of my very favorite booktubers. I will leave a link to her channel in the description. Be sure to go over and subscribe to her. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up if you love Jane Austen like I do. And of course, follow me over on Instagram and Goodreads and Storygraph and all the places. I don't know where to start. Okay, I have this huge stack. Ugh, that's super heavy. Okay. And then I have this huge stack. Oh boy, okay, it's about to topple. And then I have my beautiful box set. So I'm just like, where to start? Let's start with the box set. We've got it already up here. I actually was so delighted when they sent me a review copy of this that I actually did an entire video just about this box set. So I'm just going to link that somewhere, and you can go and see all my thoughts about the pretty and the beautiful and the goodness and the delightful box set. This is one of those where you don't actually read from these editions. They're just there to look pretty. Okay, another one that's there to look pretty is this humongous thing. I mean, it's bigger than my entire head. Look at this thing. It's extremely heavy, but look, the pretty gilded pages, and it has a bookmark, and you can see I've got flowers in there. I have pressed flowers from my recitals and stuff. So it's like, if you open it, you gotta be really careful because flowers are gonna start coming out. So this has some little illustrations. Every once in a while, there's a nice little black and white illustration. And on the back, we have a quote from Pride and Prejudice, of course, the most famous quote from Jane Austen. But again, this is not one that you actually read from because, you know, it's humongous and heavy and nobody wants to deal with all that. Okay, now we get to the actual beat up paperbacks that you really use to actually read. I actually have two copies of Emma. This is the copy of Emma that I had when I was a teenager, you know, so like I still have this one, and I'd say it's in pretty good condition, you know. And then I have a hardback of Emma. I don't even know if I ever even read from this one. Oh, and oh no, flowers are coming out. I've got a little paper with flowers. I've got a little paper with flowers in here too. Apparently Jane Austen is like my flowers, you know. This is where like little flower petals from different, you know, special occasions and stuff, and it just ends up in Jane Austen. So lots of memories, lots of lovely memories. So this is a Barnes & Noble signature edition. But I really love, I don't know what it is about this. I just love this. And maybe it's just these memories from when I was a teenager, first reading Emma, you know, but I feel like this edition, I don't know, just all these memories of my teenagehood are just kind of wrapped up in these pages in this particular book. Does anybody else feel that way about certain editions that are from your childhood or something, where it's just that particular one is important to you somehow? And then I have Persuasion, of course. This is a Bantam Classic paperback. There's just nothing like a really great floppy paperback, you know, where you don't mind kind of bending it back and just get to reading. I have a lot of books where I'm like, no, don't bend the spine and be very careful and it must stay beautiful. But there are some books where you're just like, let's just get in there, you know, and you don't mind, you know. Something about those floppy paperbacks, I love it. Okay, then we have Mansfield Park. The last time that I read it was for Jane Austen July, and I still have my little sticky tabs in there and stuff for places that, I don't know, that I thought were interesting or I wanted to remember to like say something about it in my review. This one is super beat up. I mean, it was like that when I got it. The cover is literally held together with Scotch tape, okay? Like seriously. Then we have another super beat up copy of Northanger Abbey. This is a Penguins Classic edition. I really like this one because it actually shows like the countryside and the Abbey, and like this is this grander setting, as it were, you know? So I like that cover. And strangely, I don't have a floppy paperback for Sense and Sensibility. I have this hardcover. And this is from like an old, you know, library book sale or whatever. I think I used to have another edition of Sense and Sensibility, but I don't know what happened to it. So this is a modern library edition, and it has those iconic end papers from those editions. Man, it is like really beat up. Okay, I mean, you can tell it used to be a library book. It's got like stains on it and stuff. Gross. There's something about books that are just obviously very well loved. And amazingly, this is my edition of Pride and Prejudice. I don't even like this edition of Pride and Prejudice. Why don't I have a better edition of Pride and Prejudice? This is from the Glencoe Literature Library. I do not care for this cover. And then it has related readings that are added into it. It has a short story called The Best Sort of Husband by Susan B. Kelly. It has a newspaper article called The Un-American Craving for Civility by Henry Grunwald. It has a poem by Margaret Atwood and a short story by Edith Wharton. So I don't like any of that. When I read from this edition, I'm like, I don't want to read that. I don't know what it is. I feel like this feels like a textbook or something, you know? And I'm just like, yeah. Leave me a comment and let me know, what is your favorite really pretty, just lovely edition of Pride and Prejudice, or your favorite floppy paperback or whatever. Because, you know, I'm in the market for a new edition. I need something better than this. Then I have Lady Susan, the Watsons, and Sanditon. Again, I just love the penguin because they're so floppy. Unfortunately, though, this poor cover is literally just like being torn apart. And then I have Love and Friendship and Other Early Works. I think the Watsons might be in here too. So I have it twice over, I think. No, actually it's not. It's The Three Sisters, Leslie Castle, and Collection of Letters and a History of England. So actually it doesn't have the Watsons twice. So between these two, I've got some of her letters and Juvenilia and everything. Then I have Sanditon, which says it's by Jane Austen and another lady. So an author took that first little snippet of Sanditon and then finished the rest of the story the way that they imagined that Jane Austen would have written it. Unfortunately, this is a large print edition. It was just from a library book sale. What you gonna do? But I kind of wish that I had just a normal print edition of this. And look at that, stains on the pages. Libraries, man, I don't know what to do. I remember though, I really enjoyed this and I felt like it was finished in Jane Austen's style. You know, the other author did a really good job of imitating Jane Austen's style, and the types of plot points that Jane Austen would include are included in this, and so I think it's very well done. Then I have another humongous compilation of Jane Austen's complete novels. This also includes Lady Susan, which I think is interesting. This one includes illustrations only at the beginning of like the next, you know, novel. So it does have some illustrations a little bit, but I don't really see any illustrations just anywhere else. It's just right at the beginning of each novel, then you get a little bit of illustrations. This is from Gramercy Books, and I think it's a really good edition. I like this one. It's not quite as chunky as the other one. It's a little bit more manageable. Okay, next we get into some Jane Austen related books. So first we have What Jane Austen Ate and Charles Dickens Knew, From Fox Hunting to Whist, The Facts of Daily Life in 19th Century England by Daniel Poole. I really enjoyed this one, just lots of fun history. Then we have the Jane Austen Mystery Series by Stephanie Barron. I own most of these, but some of them I have on audiobook. I have Jane and the Unpleasantness at Scargrave Manor, Jane and the Wandering Eye, Jane and the Ghost of Netley, Jane and the Man of the Cloth, Jane and the Still Room Maid. I'm saying these all out of order. This is not even the order of the actual series. Jane and His Lordship's Legacy. And then I have 3 that are hardcover. I have Jane and the Bark of Frailty that does not have its dust jacket, Jane and the Genius of the Place, and Jane and the Prisoner of Wool House. There are 15 books in this series, and I love this series. I've already done a whole nother video reviewing every book in this series. So I'm going to link that in the description so that you can find out more about the Jane Austen Mystery Series. Basically, it follows Jane Austen's life, you know, real events and real history, that things that she said and did and places she went and people she knew. But then she's also solving a murder mystery. So it's a lot of fun. If you love cozy murder mysteries and if you love Jane Austen, Stephanie Barron Murder Mystery Series is fantastic. Then we have a Jane Austen biography by Claire Tomlin. This one is really fantastic. Of course, the spine is completely broken and falling apart, but we get some of these portraits and stuff and like photos of places and things like that. I mean, this book is literally, look at the spine. It's literally just completely falling apart. This poor book. I think I read this for Jane Austen July a couple of years ago, and I really, really enjoyed it. And this is where I put tape to hold it together. If you're going to read a Jane Austen biography, this is the one that I would recommend. It's also the only one that I've read, so, you know, I don't know how valuable my recommendation is when this is the only one that I've ever read, but yeah, it's a good one. And the last book on my list is For Darkness Shows the Stars by Diana Peterfriend. This is a sci-fi retelling of Persuasion. And oh my goodness, it is so good. It just takes all those elements of Persuasion that I really love and then puts them in this cool sci-fi setting. And the characters are fantastic and the romance is delightful. It's just really, really imaginative, beautifully written. And then there's also a sequel that is not a Jane Austen retelling, but it's actually a retelling of The Scarlet Pimpernel. So I'm not particularly including that one in this video because it's not Jane Austen related, but just know that there's also a sequel to this book. If you're looking for like, oh, I need a Jane Austen retelling for Jane Austen July or something, this is the one. This is your sign to get this and read it. Okay, those are all of my Jane Austen books and Jane Austen related books. Please leave me a comment and let me know what is your favorite of Jane Austen's books, and then what is one of your favorite retellings or somehow Jane Austen related something books. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.